So the other day I posted this meme in the community post about SpongeBob saying, "Yay, it's the first of the year and I haven't bought a gun yet. Yay, me." And then January 3rd at a gun store nearby, "Oh my gosh. Oh, I can resist. Wait, take my money." That sounded more like Peter Griffin than SpongeBob, but you get the point. Then the new New Year's resolution is to only buy guns that I want. Well, all of this played out for a certain reason. You see, a couple of months back when I bought my Smith and Wesson 4046, which I believe is actually the third series of Smith and Wesson semi-automatic firearms, I really originally was looking for a 9mm version of one of those semi-auto firearms. So either like a Model 39 or a Model 59 or a 5906 or something to that effect. Well, again, it is literally the day that I posted my State of the Channel video that said that I wasn't going to go out and buy a whole bunch of guns this year, that I was going to focus more on upgrading the guns that I have. I found this near perfect condition Smith and Wesson 469 with 3 magazines at a local gun shop, and it was in such nice condition when I looked at it that I had to buy it. Now, it had actually been up for sale for probably over a month at this gun shop, and I have no idea why somebody didn't pick it up in the first place, other than it must have been meant for me. Now, again, looking at this gun, it is in such phenomenal shape. I've looked it over end to end, inside out. I've seen about 3 blemishes in the finish, maybe from taking it out and dropping it, or just from somebody scratching it with something. But in actuality, this gun was used. It had probably, 50 or 60 rounds through it. It was very clean. The magazines were in excellent condition. And everything about this gun screamed that somebody bought it in the early 1980s and literally put it away in a case and didn't use it for many, many, many years. It did come with 3 magazines, and because this was manufactured in 1984, they are pre-band magazines, so they're 12 rounds, and they're perfectly legal for me to own in my state. Now, the Model 469 is the second generation of Smith & Wesson semi-automatic pistols, and in particular, this model has a 3.5-inch barrel as opposed to the standard 4-inch barrel that you would see on the 59 or the 39 series pistols. This particular one has a decocker safety lever, so if the hammer is cocked, you can drop the lever and drop the hammer. It has very nice sights on it, and you can tell this was not carried or used a lot because the paint on those sights is still in excellent condition. The grips don't have any scratches on them whatsoever, and they're a little bit slick as far as the texturing on these goes, but that's okay because this is meant to be a carry gun. The lower frame on this gun is actually made out of aluminum, and the slide is made out of steel. It's blued, so it has kind of that almost purpley brown color to the slide, which I kind of like the appearance of that. That's the quintessential Smith & Wesson 1980s blued handguns. They look really good. Now, it can be a bit of a challenge to decipher the different generations of the Smith & Wesson semi-automatic handguns, and Chris from LuckyGunner.com has a really good chart on their website that talks about them. He's also done several videos about this, trying to use one of these old 1980s vintage guns as a carry gun. And this is the chart from the LuckyGunner.com website. You can see the first generation from 1954 to 82 was the Model 39 and the 59. The second generation was from 1979 to 88 with the 439 series, 459, and 645. The third generation was 1988 to 2010, and this covered the 3900 series, the 4500 series, the 5900 series, the 6900 series, the 4000 series, and the 1000 series. In the third generation, the first 2 digits of the model number typically denote what the caliber was, and then you have the finish, the length of the barrel, and other options that you could get with these guns, like double action only or double action single action. On the bottom, you can see here the chart that decodes the third generation model numbers. I highly recommend checking out the LuckyGunner.com website and any videos Chris Baker from Lucky Gunner has done on YouTube regarding these semi-automatic pistols. Now you can see here this has a magazine disconnect. Now you can see the double action to single action trigger with the hammer cocked. It drops the hammer. Let's look at the reset on the trigger on this gun. And this has probably the shortest reset I have ever seen. It's like 2 millimeters off the bottom of the travel, and then once you let off, it completely breaks right after that reset. I haven't shot this yet, but I can only imagine that this is going to have one of the sweetest shooting triggers out of any gun that I've ever fired. And again, getting a nice look at that, this being the second generation, it only has that decocker safety lever on one side of the gun. You can see the 9mm marking on the barrel, and this particular one does not have a hole on the top of the barrel to see if it has a loaded chamber indicator. It actually has a slight notch cut in the side of the barrel so that you can see in from the side. And now let's take a look at that double action trigger. So it does have a pretty long, heavy pull. It's slightly gritty on that first trigger pull, but again, once you fire the gun, it will reset the hammer in the rear position and you will have a very short, light trigger pull on subsequent follow-up shots. So this Model 469 really is the older, smaller brother to the Model 4046 that I picked up a few months ago. I will say I wasn't really intending on buying too many of these particular firearms, but again, as I have a habit of doing after buying one of these in a series and shooting it and really enjoying it, it may make me want to go out and buy more. So you never know, in the future, I would love to get like a nickel-plated Model 59 or a 5906, but realistically, the Model 469 with the 3.5-inch barrel and the 3.5-inch grip frame is a half-inch smaller in both dimensions than you would get with a 5906 or a Model 59 or a Model 39. So it is meant to be a little bit more concealable when you're carrying it. It also has an aluminum frame, so it's quite a few ounces lighter than the all-steel frames like you have with the 4046 or the 59 or the 5906. This really fits a niche market. It's a kind of a mid-size to full-size double-stack 9mm pistol. It's actually pretty comfortable to carry, even though it's a really wide gun. And again, I may end up buying more of these. I won't make any promises either way.